as we
allow us to journey into these altered states.
It really whacked me psyche though, big time.
If you just sit reading books, it's the shadow because you're not going to be in your body.
Welcome to Creating Space, bringing people together. Real conversations with real people, telling stories and sharing our gifts right here in the heart of Liverpool, inspiring new ideas, education and co-creation.
Choose a challenge that lights you up and is going to make a difference in the world.
Creating Space.
Sponsored by the Scouts Guru app.
Good afternoon and welcome to Creating Space. My name is Martin Bowen and this is episode 8. Today I've got two Jedi Scousers in the studio and personal friends of mine who I've had the pleasure of getting to know over the past 12 months. We've got Luke Powell. Luke is a health and wellbeing entrepreneur. He's owned restaurants and meal prep businesses in the past and he's moved into the wellbeing and health side of things. He had a massive awakening about 18 months ago and he's really committed to improving himself, body, mind and spirit. He launched an online wellbeing and fitness program in January called Shred Fast, and he's got a real passion for serving people in all areas matters related to health and wellbeing. I've also got Mark Scanlon. Mark is a family man and a business owner. He's an MMA coach and a voluntary mentor coach in schools working with teenagers. He's also a property developer, a restaurant owner, and he's a director of other businesses. He runs a program in schools called the AM Project, and he coaches kids in the MMA in the Kaibon over in Wavertree. He's also just about to open an amazing centre in Liverpool called Awake. This is a self-development centre in Liverpool based on self-awareness, yoga, meditation and physical fitness. Gentlemen, welcome to the studio. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Nice one, Matt. Good
Luke,
to be here, lad.
So let's dive right into you for a minute, Luke, because I know you've just drove up from Brighton to be here. How was that for you?
Yeah, it was sound. It was crazy. I sent you the video, didn't I?
Yeah.
On the way down, literally wasn't a car in sight. I didn't take my foot off the accelerator the whole time.
Yeah.
Which was a first. Like, I've been down here a few times, and it was weird getting all like 28 days later type thing coming into my head, man. I swear, I've never seen it like that before in my life.
How long
Literally
is the drive to Brighton?
4.5,
yeah.
4:20,
yeah,
something like that. It wasn't too bad of a drive at all, especially when it's like
cars.
None at all.
A couple of lorries here and there.
Yeah, that's about it. No service stations open or not, just garages.
Eddie Stobart's, maybe a couple of them knocking about.
That was about it, literally. Yeah, it was crazy that, but yeah, good to get back. I've been down there for about 3 weeks now since it started, and I'll be going straight back down there after this until it's all. Yeah,
nice. And what is it that you're doing down there? I know we were just mentioning you got a friend down there who owns a property, and you. Yeah,
so I'm just getting away from what's going on. Really, just feel like with what's going on, it's good to get down there, and it's opening my mind up a little bit more down there. I can relax. And focus on the Shred Fast that you've just mentioned on the introduction, and it's just, I feel like I can go to work a lot more down there, and just, I've got a lot more free time now with what's going on, and I'm just sitting there every day reading, listening to audio books. The weather's lovely down there, like I said to you, it's like 26, 27 degrees yesterday, so out in nature loads and just enjoying the time down there. And
you're talking about what's going on at the minute, for anyone listening in today is, we're right in the middle of the coronavirus epidemic, aren't we? Do you know what I mean? And, we're all on house arrest. There's some sort of lockdown going on and we've been in it now for 3 weeks, haven't we? And, I suppose you're just using this time, this energy to really continue to dive into yourself. I know self-development and personal growth is something that, really means a lot to you at the moment, and then you're projecting that into your work. And you mentioned, obviously, the online program with Shred Fast. So let's lean into that and talk to me a little bit about, what is it that you're doing online and why is it that you're doing it and what's the vision for the future?
Yeah, so what it is, it's an overall program. So it was something that I've looked into it a lot over the past, say, 18 months, 2 years, about trying to find something that got the mental aspect, the physical aspect, the well-being, just all in one, and I couldn't find anything. So obviously being friends with Mark as well, like he's always been speaking to me about businesses and finding like a niche in the market. So like I went to work on that side of things, and I thought that was the niche, that there isn't anything that's like that. It's kind of you'll find a physical, do this, do that, get in physical great shape, but then maybe neglect the mental aspect and vice versa. So with the likes of yoga and stuff, like I love yoga because it is physical and mental, definitely, but I know for the likes of me and Mark, sometimes we won't walk out of yoga feeling like we've had a
good workout.
Yeah, do you know, like a kind of just where you vent some anger and like let a bit of aggression go. Sometimes you don't get that aspect with it. So I feel like when you combine it all, like the meditation, the yoga, and the training, which is like what Mark's doing with the weight, I just find that that's the best combination of everything when you're making sure that your mental aspects looked after just as much as your physical. So that was where it all began in my own head. And what it was is I've put together a kind of a formula, and that's what this is. That's what I described it as, like a formula for how to just live a good life, because I know how I feel waking up each day.
Of course.
And I really do just want to spread that, and this steadfast has been a way for me to be able to project it to as many people as possible. I know a lot of people and personal trainers do like the one-on-one training online, but I felt that was massively limiting myself if I was going to go into that. You can only put your energy into so many people at one given time, but if I created a product that was there for everyone to use and get the best benefits out, and I'm constantly uploading videos and advice on how to make the most of the product. And again, just with the books and stuff I'm reading, it always says that the product that you provide should always give more in life value than you're taking cash value for it.
Yeah, of course.
So I feel like that's definitely what it does, because it's really affordable for people. So once I'd created the kind of basis of the formula and created a website and everything to go on, it really has just
it's gone off.
It's gone really well.
I think the fact that a lot of people are under house arrest at the minute, everyone's got their phones, haven't they? Everyone's using the phones a little bit, so it's a great time for any sort of online business to thrive. You know what I mean? And you talk about the formula there. What is it that what formula is it that you're offering through the Shred Fast system, and how are people benefiting from using the online program at the moment? So
it's a combination of obviously physical training, the likes of kettlebells, calisthenics, hit like high intensity interval training. It's a combination of that. It's not that I'm an expert in the field, but with the likes of yoga and meditation, it's helped me a lot in learning about it the past 18 months. So I just recommend that. I don't try and teach people how to do it in any way. I just kind of put it out there that I would recommend it. With the likes of ice water therapy. So because we went to Wim Hof in January. So with stuff like that, I feel like I've gone and lived that, and I've incorporated a lot of that into the program as well. Also, nice. I know the benefits I got from it, which is all about meditation, ice water, like it's a mental challenge. So I feel like I've incorporated that with the likes of cold showers and ice baths into it, and also just book recommendations and podcast recommendations, audio books.
Lovely.
Morning routines, morning rituals, which I owe Mark the credit for that. He got me on that about this time last year, is when he really like knuckled down with me and was telling me you should be doing this, should be doing that. So
morning routine.
And just with seeing the benefit that it's done to my life, it's just something I want to share with people, because I think a lot of people are quick to they might try something for maybe 6 to 8 weeks, and they're that keen to put it out there. They may not have really got the full effect from it themselves. And I've probably done that in the past in my life with a lot of things, so like jumped the gun a little bit, whereas I wanted to really live and feel the benefits from what I was going to put out in this product, which is why it took me so long to do it.
And I've had a little look at the program, and a lot of the sessions are about 30 minutes long, aren't they? And is it split into 3 different categories throughout the session?
10-10-10. So it's usually starts with a body weight to loosen up your joints and your your ligaments and your tendons, and then you go into a kettlebell complex and then finish with a hit.
Nice.
Which so for example in the gym it'd be calisthenic 10 minutes, which is like press ups, pull ups, inverted rows, dips, squat jumps, lunges, stuff like that. Then you'd go into a kettlebell complex, which might be like snatches, squats, thrusters, stuff like that. Then after that you'd go into incline sprints on the treadmill, for example.
Nice.
15 seconds on, 45 seconds off, uphill. quick as you can. 10 rounds of that, so all on the minute, every minute is the complex that I take. So you get in, get it done. It's really like short and efficient work, and it just, I feel like that's what works best. I've studied it for a long time, and overtraining can be just a detrimental to you as overtraining, especially mental fatigue as well.
Yeah.
To overtrain, it can start to mentally fatigue you, which can lead to mental health problems as well, just the same as not training can do. So I think there's a fine balance, and when you get the combination of all of them, with the likes of a little meditation, which is like, again, what Mark's doing with the awake, like meditation, kind of just mindfulness, which is what you're an expert in yourself, the yoga side, like making sure that you're nimble, and because for years I lifted heavy weights, deadlifts and heavy weights as I could, and I feel the effects even now still from it. I wasn't looking after myself and never realised the importance of stretching and staying subtle. So learning that again, I learned that the hard way, and now I probably couldn't go more than a day without a good stretch, do you know what I mean? So I just feel like I keep everything short and intense, and I try and encourage everyone to do what feels right for their body, which is another thing as well, Matt, that I learned from you with the work I've done with you and the time I spent with you as well. It's like, I'm not trying to put a set thing in place. It can't be the same for everyone, because everyone's obviously different. So on the videos I upload to the website, I'm speaking to people always to try and say, you've got to personalise it to you. I can tell you, I can give everyone guidelines on everything, but you have to take some responsibility and maybe keep like a diary, which I recommend at the beginning, is keep a diary of what foods made you feel what way, what training made you feel what way, whether you got any benefit from the ice baths, how long you've done in the ice bath, how long you've got to keep a bit of a diary, but it doesn't have to be daunting, because I don't tell people to do it for the foreseeable future. It can just be 6 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, but then you've actually got some information to look back over and say, I felt like this, and this is what I was doing. So that's a massive thing. It's just personalise it to each individual.
Because everyone's different, aren't they, Luke? You know what I mean? You know, you get people who've been training all their life, you know, who can obviously take away, you know, the program and really dive into what you're offering, and then you've got people who've never maybe trained, you know what I mean, or maybe, you know, women who've just had a baby, or people who've had an injury, do you know what I mean? So and by the sounds of it, you're catering to all aspects of fitness, and really just trying to educate people on listening to their own body, you know what I mean?
That's exactly what
whilst taking responsibility, you know, and trying new things. You know, it's not just the fitness aspect of it. You know, we are mentioning, you know, the well-being package nowadays, the mind, you know, and other things that people are tapping into, like, you know, the books that we're reading, the experience that we're having, you know, and it makes us a lot more wholesome. I know you, from your own direct experience there, you know, having started to explore a lot more yoga in your life, and we can bring Mark into the conversation in a moment, is, you know, and how beneficial that is for someone who's maybe lifted weights all their life, to really go down that avenue of mobility, opening up, you know, and we know through the direct experience of the practice that it doesn't just open us up at the level of the body, it's open us up at the level of the mind, isn't it? So, you know, so let's bring Mark into the conversation. You know, let's stay into the theme of yoga at the moment. I know you guys have been doing yoga here at Planet Yoga, you know, for a while with a lovely teacher of ours, Diane. How's that journey been for you so far?
So I met Diane about 7 years ago. I had a bar in town, and me and my partner Dave just wandering down Bolt Street one day, and we're like, let's have a go of yoga. So we popped in. I think it was Happiness.
Oh yeah.
So we just popped in, just literally off the street, and went in and booked a 1-to-1, and it was with Diane. I'm like 7 years down the line. I've never really been like a big yogi, but I have done it
part of your program.
Yeah, I've done it on and off for 7 years. And now me and Diane are going to open a business together, pretty much teaching yoga, meditation, mindfulness. It's all a good gear, really.
It's all a good gear.
Yeah, it's like just going back to what Luke was saying before. I think the yoga definitely complements the other type of training. What we do a lot of like fitness stuff, lifting weights, boxing, and you know, the when I did discover yoga, it was like the missing link. I think what kind of connects all of it together, because obviously you are abusing your body in a lot of ways. A lot of the stuff you do is tough. You're smacking each other in the face, and you're throwing heavy weight around, which can be harsh on your tendons and your ligaments and what have you. I know yoga definitely, you know, does help with the flexibility, the mobility, and you know, it's just like another string to your bow, really.
What training are you doing then, smacking each other in the face?
me and Luke don't mind smacking each other in the face now and again. I still train in Carbon a couple of times a week, a couple of mornings, and we have the odd sparring there.
Because I know you were an ex-UFC fighter, Mark.
I fought professional for like nine years and coached for a long time. I spent a lot of time in Brazil, training and learning a lot of new stuff to bring back to Calbon where I was training. So like MMA's been a big part of my life.
Wow.
And still is to this day. I still watch a lot of UFCs. I coach kids in Calbon.
Yeah.
I run a program called the I Am Project, which is basically going into schools as an MMA guy, but using that kind of as a way to get into the kids and earn a bit of respect off them, and then teach them the different things which I've took from mixed martial arts, obviously, and took into the business world and everything else what I do now, just on a day-to-day basis, really. So
lovely. Sounds like, you know, you're using, you know, your experiences with MMA, because it's massive now, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's, you know, it's is it like it's the number one entertainment, it really, isn't it? You know what I mean?
I think in sports, in combat sports, definitely, yeah. You know, it's the fastest growing sport, they say, don't they?
Yeah.
But it's you know, it's a combination of martial arts, and to be at the top level in that sport, you've definitely got to have key things in anything what you decide to do, which is obviously discipline, hard work, attitude. So it's a lot of them things. It's mindset. Like, it's only when I come away from fighting I realised how important and how big of a thing the mindset was. Which was, you could say it's good time or bad time, and for me it just is what it is. That wasn't my journey or my path at the time, but I started to discover the, you know, basically what you were capable of through the mind. As I was coming away from fighting. Maybe if I'd have discovered these things, you know, in the midst of my fighting career, I'd have gone further in fighting, but obviously that wasn't my path of my journey. But I'm blessed to have been in fighting and seen, once I've actually started to learn about it, the different like ways, you know, I've seen the best fighters in the gym going to a fight and mentally not have it and get beat by, you know, guys who are less technical and maybe even took fights on short notice just because maybe they were under too much pressure, or they couldn't get in they struggled to get in a state of flow actually in a fight. So it's like, you know, it definitely took a lot away from fighting where your mindset's concerned, because I've had that experience firsthand myself and know where I've gone wrong, and you know, maybe where I have been on point in certain fights. And so and
I like the way, you know, for anyone listening today, you know, we're all pretty much in a battle, aren't we? Do you know what I mean? Whether it's in the ring, and whether it's in the octagon, or whether it's, you know, in life, you know what I mean? And you know, we're talking about having these skills, these lifelong tools that we can apply, you know, to these situations. You know, instead of just getting ready for a fight, it's just getting ready for life, isn't it? You know, and you mentioned Brazil there. Let's take this back in time for a minute, and you know, what was your relationship to Brazil, and why Brazil, and then where was it in your journey that you really started to look at mindset? I know that there was a friend of yours who I've got to know pretty recently, and a fella called Brian. So let's dive into that, Mark, and let's see where it ends up.
So we started fighting. I'm 36 when I was about 21, and I met a friend who was like a pioneer of MMA in Liverpool in the UK at the time, Paul Cahoon. So one thing, I won't go into it, but we end up mates anyway, and at the time I was about maybe 17 stone, just smashing the weights and eating KFCs and drinking loads of protein shakes, one body part a day, skinhead, going through that phase in my life. And I, you know, with a bit of an ego and a chip on my shoulder at the time, with a bigger ego, so to say, than I've got now. And I met Paul, and he took me up to a gym in Atherton, near Lee, and I just went into the gym and got thrown around by all these little 9 stone, 10 stone wrestlers, just twisted me up and just got a major ego check. And I've got like one of them personalities where I'm kind of all or nothing. So 2 weeks later I was in Brazil, and was there for maybe 8, 9, I can't remember, it must have been a couple of months anyway. So just dive straight into it.
A lot of wrestling in Brazil.
I just went over. Paul introduced me to the guys in a Luta Livre gym, which basically in Brazil they say the Luta Livre. There was like a big rivalry between Luta Livre and Jiu-Jitsu. Now it's a lot more friendly, but I think when I was there, there was more. I'd say they were real rivals. So like the Jiu-Jitsu guys, basically they say they were the people who were well off, who could afford to buy a gi. And the Luta Livre lads, they were more like the gangbangers from the ghettos and the favelas. And so the Jiu-Jitsu guys used to accuse all the Luta Livre guys of being thieves and drug dealers. And I found myself in some backstreet gym in Rio, doing Luta Livre with all the lads out the favelas.
Wow.
So obviously from where I was from at the time, we could kind of relate to each other, and we got on great. And up to this day now, I'm still blessed to have a lot of them as friends who I'm in regular contact with. But from being in like, a gym in Atherton in Lee, doing a bit of wrestling, to like 2 months later being in Brazil, getting my head pulled off by a load of Brazilian favela, they say like drug dealers and robbers as they used to get called. It was a good experience for me, but I just loved it. I'd always loved fighting, and fighting a lot when I was a kid and getting into scraps here and there, but it was like I'd found my passion, so to say.
Lovely.
And that was it. Then I probably spent, I think I spent 2.5 months the first time I was there. I actually had a fight the day before I came home, or 2 days before I came home, with very little experience. Came home, then had a fight in Liverpool on like in the Olympia. It's like the main, like the home of Scouse MMA. It still is now to this day. And that was it then. I was obviously joined Team Cowbon, which I'm still a big part of now, and that's like me second home, you could say. Coach the kids in there. But yeah, I probably spent 2-3 months a year for the last maybe 10 years before I retired in Brazil or the States, just trying to improve and just constantly trying to learn new things to bring home and teach the lads who are coaching the gym, and we just like learn off each other and gathering as much information as we could and techniques and skills, and that was it. I just loved it really. So it was just a case of going there, taking what I can from there in between fights, and coming home and teaching it and practicing it and making it part of my game then when I was here.
Wow. So, there's a sense of just what I was listening to your story there, a feeling of how us men, somewhere in our life we start for some sort of initiation. Do you know what I mean? And we seek danger, and for you to go on that journey, to go to Brazil on your own, and to go into the a back end gym in the middle of nowhere, and get in the ring with some, I can only make a perceived judgment, some very, very, very hard men. There's a sense of just initiation into manhood, and a level of growth. I look back on my own journey. I've had a number of experiences where I've spent maybe 2 or 3 months abroad on my own, and then come back, and it's only when you come back, isn't it, you realise, wow, how much you've grown, or how much you've shed skin, and how much you've initiated into a deeper sense of wholeness, I suppose. And so far, thank you for sharing your story, because there's something about being in a ring, or being, I was a tennis coach, I was always fighting with the other guy on the other end of the court, and there's something that we can learn so much, isn't there, by stepping into a ring, man to man, eye to eye, and then applying your skills, applying the things you've learned, and the tools in being able to have an experience, I suppose. And how's it been for you, having professional fights, and
it's been
as
good.
a man?
Like going back to Brazil, it's like, if you look now, Luke, he'll vouch for it as well. It's like we're in a position now where we've got to seek discomfort, because obviously we know that's how you grow, is through discomfort. So like I look back and I'm really, really grateful for the experiences and the time I've spent over there, the friends I've got from there, and I look back to some of the places I've been, and being in favelas with like you can't go in favelas. So like I've been up in the favelas with lads escorting us around with you know, handguns and grenades, and I've seen a lot of things what your average Joe on the street going to Brazil you can't see or experience. But at the time I didn't really appreciate them as much as, you know, sometimes I sit back now. But I also look back once I started to say awaken or learn more about myself and my thoughts. I look back at moments like that and think, well, I used to fly to Brazil 2-3 times a year, walk into a gym of 20-30 lads from the favelas, rough asses from Brazil. Every one of them, as soon as I walk in, I'm just like throwing fresh meat to a fucking pen of tigers or lions. So it's like, you know, I can take pride in knowing that I used to fly to Brazil with whatever money I had at the time to spend a month or 2 months away from home to seek that discomfort, to go in there and get my ass kicked. And eventually I did earn the respect of the lads in the gym. And at the same time, I was able to bring all that information and stuff I learnt off the people over there, because I was going there basically because they were the best grapplers in the world.
Yeah.
Where my level was in the UK at the time, it was like top level for the UK.
Yeah.
You know, so it was high level over here, where grappling's concerned and wrestling's concerned. But when I go over to Brazil, it weren't.
Yeah.
So it was like I was going there purposely just to better myself by going with people better than me.
Yeah.
And it's that kind of, you know, that's what I try and go into the schools to teach the kids. It's who you surround yourself with. Is you know, who you become yourself.
Absolutely.
You've got to be around better people to become better. And I look back at times like that, and I, you know, it's like I said, it makes me proud to know that that's where my mind and how my thoughts were at that time, and that's kind of what's getting me to where I'm going and where I am today. And
of course,
like Luke said, when you've got that information and understanding yourself, you just want to, you know, when you're in a position to share that, that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
and it's almost like you're talking about your life's mission there. Do you know what I mean? And you know, you're talking about who is it that you're surrounding yourself with, and you know, we sit here as men today, and sincerely, I can feel into that. We're surrounded by some good men, aren't we? You know, I know you set up a group about 18 months ago, is that right? Yeah. And you know, called the 3%, and I, for one, I've really fortunate over the last few years to be surrounded by some good men, you know, and anyone listening to this today, it's maybe just an invitation to take a look in the mirror and own your stuff, and take a look at maybe who you're surrounding yourself with, and be honest with yourself, you know, because there's a saying, show me the 5 people that you hang around with, I'll show you your future. And very quickly, over the last few years, being surrounded by some real healthy, mature guys has brought me on as a man, as a brother, as a person. And you know, what you're talking about here is being around like some solid guys, you know, who actually, these morals of like sincerity and discipline and truth, you know, I think we want the truth a lot of the time as men, don't we? You know what I mean? And so, you know, we'll lean into the 3% for a moment. But how did you guys get to meet each other, Luke? When was the first time you got to meet Mark?
It's weird. I actually, first time I ever met Mark, you probably won't remember it because he was training how many people at the time, but it was about, when he's speaking about 10 years ago now in Calbon. I got a house just on Salisbury Road, just down the road from where Calbon's located. And I went there, I'd done about 4 months there, every night with the Luther Lever. So that's when I actually met Mark, and honestly, like, exactly what he's like now is exactly what he was like then. He's obviously just learned a lot more, and he's probably in touch with himself more now, but he always had time for everyone. I always remember, especially like the younger ones like myself, 18, 19 at the time. He'd always give you little extra pointers and after class, and he'd crack jokes with you and make you feel comfortable, because I was obviously the new person there. But yeah, that was when I first met Mark, and it was weird though, because I always felt like I would see him again, even when I left there and I moved out that house, and I kind of just felt like I'd always hear his name mentioned through like mutual friends and whatever. And then but I started PTing last year, January, at Derby Lane, and that's where he was training in the same gym, so we just kind of clicked straight away, lad, and we just started cracking on. I always remember he said, what time did you get up? So I said 5, 6, 7 o'clock, and then he said, you fancy joining the 5 a.m. club? So I was like, yeah, do you know what I mean, fuck it. So before I knew it, I was in there at 5:30 getting me a punched in my so but like
meat.
goes back to that way you said about like it was just that's just something I didn't want to do, but I felt growth in it. You know what I mean? You don't want to go in and get your punched in. It's not like what you want to do or choose to do, but every time I would, I'd grow. And like I was feeling it instantly. I couldn't even explain it. As soon as I walk out the gym, I'd grow.
Felt 10 foot tall, yeah.
Honestly,
And at the same time, I've been there, so I know what it feels like. So I know what he's getting from that experience with me, because I've had my arse whooped and walked out of there with that same feeling. So it's like you're just sharing knowledge and information, even if it means you're smacking each other in the face. And, do you know what I mean? It's all growth.
It's all growth.
It's all growth. I feel like it's like increase to life. Like, I'm reading a book at the minute which I was speaking to you about, Martin. Like, it's talking about the increase of life, and like as just a living being, we thrive for increase. So like he compares it to like a seed dropped in the ground. It thrives to increase, grow. It's just what we do. Without it, we die. Yeah. So unless we're seeking increase in some form, we die. And as you get increase to give off increase into it, and that's what he's done for me. Like he's provided me with information and knowledge for me to be able to grow myself, and then when I've felt that growth within me, it's infectious, infectious that everyone I was surrounded by. So it's like, and this is what I feel he's doing in the city. You're kind of planting them seeds around and yourself. With doing a mindfulness course with you, it planted a seed in me, and then I feel like that's blossoming me. And the more seeds that you're planting in each other, you're going to see some serious growth in those of people around you. And I just feel like, as you said there, what I've done is not so much change my circle, because I'm always going to be loyal to my friends and family, but I've seeked out kind of better people who are in basically a stronger position than I am, or where I want to be in life. I've seeked them out, and especially with the likes of yourselves, I've looked up to like men that are just slightly older than me and have achieved the things that I'm aspiring to achieve, and I think if you follow in their footsteps, you can't really go wrong. So
it's like being grateful, isn't it, but never satisfied. You've always got to be aiming for something. It doesn't matter whether it's a material thing or it's, it can be absolutely anything, but it's just bettering yourself in some way. Not to say that you're not grateful or blessed for who you are right now, but it doesn't mean at the same time you're ever satisfied to where you stop wanting to grow. I think
that's where the spirituality sometimes can get a bit confusing with people, because it's like they say some spirituality, it's as though they're trying to basically say just be happy with what you've got, and you stop trying to always seek more, just be kind of be at one and be you. But I feel like if you delve into it that little bit deeper, which I have in the past 18 months, you realise that that's not what it's about. It's not just about being happy, it's like what you said, Mark, it's being happy but while still thriving for increased life.
Absolutely.
But definitely appreciating where you are.
Absolutely. And thank you for owning that. And what's springing to mind is, I think we have this innate encoded drive within us, don't we, for the truth. And I suppose, we're longing to belong to something, we're searching for something, and on one level or other we're looking for ourselves, we're looking for a sense of wholeness, and there's this inner purpose. And Eckhart Tolle talks about it, and he talks about outer purpose, and having like something externally which drives you to get out of bed, which drives you to get out of bed at 5 a.m, which drives you to get out of bed at 5 a.m. and get in the ring. Do you know what I mean? There's things which innately are driving us. What is your driver? What's getting you up and out of bed of a morning? And anyone listening to this is like, it's not easy to get out of bed of a morning, especially at 5 a.m. But it's very uncomfortable. But it's so easy to just press that snooze button. It's so easy to just roll over. We live in anyone listening in the UK, it's freezing half the time. It's dark and it's wet, and it's just so easy to just roll over, isn't it? You know what I mean? And do something which is comfortable. And we're talking about going to an edge here. We're talking about going to them places which are uncomfortable. And that is where the growth is. 5 a.m, you don't have to get up at 5 a.m, but do something that scares you. do something that is out of your comfort zone and do something which is different from your morning routine. Everyone who's listening to this, we've all got a morning routine, whether it's getting up at 5 a.m, having a cold shower, doing some meditation, doing some breath work, or whether you're just getting up, jumping out of bed, having a piece of toast, putting a kettle on and jumping in the car. Everyone's got a morning routine, and I'm really looking forward to diving into the importance of a morning routine shortly. But thank you also, Luke, for owning, that loyalty that you've got to other people. There's a fine line, isn't there, between, letting people go and then being loyal to people, but also having the courage to meet new people. I, for one, have been really fortunate enough to meet a lot of new people over the last few years. And, we've all maybe heard of that saying, your vibe attracts your tribe. And I, for one, have enjoyed having you men in my life. Where I'm learning, how to constantly step up. We're all elevating each other, aren't we? Gracefully. We've all got our own individual endeavours, but then we do come together collectively, and and we're not just talking about the 3% here, but we're talking about our sort of our inner and outer circles. But what is the 3% all about then, Mark, and why is it that you set it up?
So I had quite a few friends who I'd send them certain videos, and we'd put each other onto different books and stuff like that. And then about 18 months ago, I went and spent a day with Wim Hof in London. So before I'd actually gone and spent that day with Wim Hof, I'd had a couple of reoccurring thoughts in my head over starting a group basically where we share all this type of positive videos and information, and basically somewhere where we can just speak every morning and give, we've got the 5 a.m. club and whatever, give everyone a good start to the day. So it was just the people who I was amongst at the time, I still am now, it was just kind of getting them connected where we're all speaking daily and having conversations and just there for each other, to help each other and just bouncing off each other, yeah. So I kind of had the thought over setting that up for a while before I did actually do it, but I went and spent one day with Wim Hof in London, and you can say different things kind of have a big impact on you, but for me, spending one day there on my own, doing the breath work, like we were saying before again, over, seeking discomfort. The thing I've actually spoke to you over this, the thing I was most fearful over was going there and doing this dance which I'd seen them all do on YouTube. So, the ice, I weren't asked over the ice because I've done cold baths and whatever for years on and off. Obviously it was nice to get a train down to London and back on my own and have a bit of me time, but the thing I was most fearful over was doing this dance which Luke's familiar with as well, after us going again to Wim Hof in January. But you basically, to prepare you to go into the cold, you do this dance before you go in and you do it afterwards, and the idea behind it is obviously the cold blood goes to your hands, and if you don't do this dance and you just literally get straight out the cold, then that cold blood can then rush through obviously your core and through your heart, and it can send you into shock. So anyway, you have to do this dance. So that was the thing which, out of all of it, I'd watched a couple of clips on YouTube to see what it was about, and that's what I was most nervous over before I went. But obviously we look for these things and we're trying to grow, so things which make you uncomfortable, you've got to do them. And the fact that Katie booked it for Father's Day kind of was me sign that I was meant to be there, yeah. So I just accepted it and on I went. So I had this full day, and I can honestly say, from obviously going to see Wim Hof again, I seen what his message was, and he'd been through some things in his life himself and some experiences. I don't know if everyone knows the story, but obviously his wife committed suicide and left him with 4 kids, and obviously which left him in a really, really dark place. And he obviously seen the cold and the ice as an escape at first, and one thing led to another, which basically now he markets himself for what he did through, you could say, breaking all these world records and doing things which people didn't believe he could do, to get himself out there, to spread his message of, this is how you can heal and how you can help yourself.
How resilient the body is and how powerful the body is,
Yeah, and it is all about discomfort. Again, this word keeps coming up, but that's what it is all about. It's taking you back to a primal state, and the breath work again, which obviously a lot about, and So we spent a full day with him, and I just come out of there like I'd levelled up in a day.
Yeah.
I come out of there charged, excited, and I was like, I'm fucking starting this group and getting all these lads together. And like, there's another reason I can't really go into it on this, but it was basically to get a collective consciousness of lads all, you know, with open-minded, with the same beliefs, all working together with the same visions and goals, and you know, to try and like the bigger picture is to try and do things in the city which you know, benefit and serve everyone.
Yeah.
And that was like the idea behind the group. It's still going strong now. We've got maybe 20-30 lads on who all communicate and speak every day. We put loads of positive videos in and books, and you know, we all have conversations all the time. I arrange round about every fortnight, which you've been yourself. We all meet up in like a conference room, and we explore a bit of heart math and different things, which is all led through sorry, I'll have to go back to Brian.
Yeah, let's bring Brian into it a moment.
The brain man Brian, I call him, who's I really grateful to have ever met, and to have him as a friend, because again, if you know, we can go from here to how I met him if you want us to.
Absolutely, yeah, check in. Because I know it was about a lot of he came into the gym, didn't he?
Yeah,
you know, with all the fighting.
Brian, basically the brain man Brian, I call him. He studied psychology, he studied neurology, quantum physics. He's in regular conversations with Quantech, one of the largest quantum physics companies on the planet, and he really stays up to date with everything what's going on in the world, science-wise, and you know, he's spiritual, and he is he's forgot more than I'll ever know when it comes to this type of stuff. So Brian came to the gym to work as a sports and performance mind coach at the time, and I was in Cowbon, and he'd just come into reception, the first time I'd ever met him, and we just ended up chatting, and I've always been like dead curious, like, you know, like curious to everything.
Yeah,
you know,
asking questions
about everything. Yeah, again, we've spoke about I go on Aldi, and I always look up at the sky and be like, there's got to be more to me just standing here in a pair of flip-flops. You know, what are we and where are we? And so I always had that really curious, like, maybe, I don't know whether you call it spiritual or what it is, but I've always had that side to me. But I think maybe being so obsessed with fighting and kind of being in my own program, or whatever you want to call it at the time, I never really delved into it or kind of explored it, but I met Brian, and within 10 minutes we were speaking about Dynamo the Magician, frequencies, vibrations, energies, and it just literally opened a can of worms for me. It was like, you know, sitting there listening to this guy for 30 minutes, an hour, and just conversing about like basically the science behind life and spirituality,
consciousness,
and
nature,
consciousness,
all
and
that.
yeah, it just lit a fire in me, to be honest. And since then, maybe that was, I'd say 8 years ago, it led me to like the likes of the law of attraction. I started reading or listening to on my runs, like the Power and the Secret, and you know, that was kind of the start for me. And then, you know, that started my like self-development, and you know, at first it was mainly around business and stuff like that, and then obviously once I delved into that, I started to realise the connection between the science and the spirituality, and that's pretty much led me to where I am today, and that the stuff what I've discovered myself and I've used in my own life, it's like I just feel obliged now to share that with everyone else, and I have done, and that's kind of where we are with the group. You know, we all bounce off each other, we all, you know, help each other, and if we see something positive or go through a good experience, a bad experience, whatever, it's, you know, we're all kind of there for each other. It's just like,
we're all holding a space, aren't we, equally?
Yeah.
You know what I mean, through the group. And I know Brian, you know, offers a lot of his, you know, education, a lot of his teachings, as you do yourself. And what's so amazing here is like, you know, how we have come together collectively. It's like we've all been doing our work individually, and then all of a sudden, you know, men have just sort of come out of the, you know, for me, I felt very alone for quite some time, Mark. You know what I mean? I was going through this, you know, you could maybe call it an awakening, and I felt very lonely because there wasn't a lot of people around me at the time for me to share what was alive for me, and a lot of people thought I was going pretty mad, you know what I mean? And, you know, I know we've got other friends, you know, and we can reference, you know, the likes of Ryan Doolan, and, you know, people thought we were just going crazy. And we were just changing a paradigm, really, and we we were searching, and you know, you talk about you know, like leveling up and growth and transformation, and it was just all coming thick and fast for me. And what's been so nourishing over the last probably couple of years is to know that my journey was actually happening for so many other people, you know, at a very similar time, and then we all just collectively like merged, didn't we? You know, we all come together, and even though we've all got like, I suppose, some sort of separate missions going on here in Liverpool, there's a collective, isn't there? You know, and the reason you are, you know, so successful with your endeavours and how you're holding space for other people is because you've done the work yourself, you've tasted the fruit, and you continue to go into them uncomfortable places on a daily basis, and it's a very powerful group. And I prayed for this a long time ago, you know, of sitting in a room with men from Liverpool, you know, and getting really vulnerable. I think, you know, let's bring that energy in this. Like, vulnerability is a big one, isn't it? You know what I mean? And you know, throughout, you know, my life, you know, being a Scouse lad in Liverpool, you know, there's a lot of sort of inflated warriors, you know, in the city, and I think when we can maybe remove their masks and you know, come to a level of vulnerability, that's where the real power is, isn't it? You know, and I know we've sat in the studio, I know we've done some work, you know, around the meditation, and I know we've shared sincerely, and we've opened up to one another, and it's brought about a bond which is, it's immeasurable. You know, it's incredibly powerful, and even though you might not see these men on a daily basis, you know that actually, wow, I know he's here to help me, but equally I know I'm there to help him, you know, and we're all learning off each other directly and indirectly, you know, and it's been incredibly powerful so far, hasn't it? And I suppose this really gives us the opportunity to lean into, you know, what you're actually doing now, you know, teaching these young men, you know, in Liverpool. I know you're opening up a space called Awake.
Yeah.
And so tell us about that, and you know, lean into what your vision is, what your mission is, and what you aim to achieve.
So Awake Liverpool pretty much is what it says on the tin.
Absolutely.
I don't think many people actually realise that until, you know, maybe some conversations which have come up lately, but basically what it's about is I'm creating a business which is obviously to provide a service for adults based around, you know, the type of stuff what Luke was speaking about before. It's kind of, well, me and Luke and Diane as well are creating a session called High Frequency. So it's combining like fitness, yoga and meditation. So that's something what myself I've kind of said to even, like, I don't know if I've mentioned it to Luke in the past or Diana, being like, there's no way you can go to do a circuit, some yoga and meditation all in one hit. And I know for a lot of people who work and have kids and stuff, they struggle to
get
kind of get the three things in. So end up doing none of them.
Yeah.
So, you know, again, it's just finding like a niche in the market or an opening somewhere which, you know, maybe it's not a service being provided by anyone else that you can exploit, and at the same time, you know, people get value from it. And for me, that's what that was a big reason why I had the idea to open Awake, was to kind of give people that to come in, and you know, because I know we've done a couple of practices, haven't we? The way you feel after doing them sessions is like, and that's what it's about. It's just like trying to basically make people feel good. Yeah. So
serious plug-in, innit?
Awake for me is just creating a centre, self-development, so people can come there and learn more about themselves. And you know, there's different things we're doing. So the high frequency fitness, that session in particular is going to be called, which is a combination, 20 minutes HIIT training, 20 minutes yoga, and then 20 minutes just a meditation to finish. So it's like combining three things which I personally find very powerful and you know, making me feel good in my day-to-day life, and putting that into one session. We're obviously offering the yoga classes, we're offering meditation. I'm keeping Thursday evenings free, so I'm going to have people coming in doing workshops on various things like you could say the law of attraction, psychology, do's and don'ts, you know, stuff, guidance for parents over children, and Thursdays is just like a free space for anything we can do to, you know, to try and help people, or you know, give people education, information, stuff which they can then take to better their own lives and their families. A massive part of it, obviously in relation to what I do with the kids in the schools, is I'm setting up a business which is going to be self-sufficient, so there's no funding involved. The classes then which I put on for the adults are going to pay for a free timetable for kids. So we're doing like Monday to Friday, 4 p.m. We've got different fitness classes, meditation classes, mindfulness yoga. We're doing classes for parent and child, you know, for kids who suffer with autism and stuff like that. Basically we're doing a full 6 days a week timetable for kids, and like going again, like speaking about like Awake Liverpool, for me, my mission in that is kind of to get children on the awareness and the power of their thoughts before, you know, you're trying to fix an adult as opposed to helping a child create their own life. That's like the method behind it, I think. With the stuff I do with the kids, I'm like going in and working with young lads who kind of can relate to me, because I'm like, we laugh, don't we, and say sophisticated scally. But I go in and talk the talk and walk the walk, just so they let them walls down, which we were speaking about before, and you know, they be a bit more vulnerable once
very
they get to know me.
Aren't you? Very, you know, you're holding them space for these young lads, you know, who've maybe had you know, a tougher upbringing, you know what I mean, or maybe being put to one side because you know, they could have been deemed a little bit naughty or a bit mischievous, when really they're just trying to express themselves. They're looking again for that sense of initiation. I think the good thing with me is, you know? I've
been through a bit myself, but if I haven't been through it, I've got friends who are in a good place now, especially in like the 3%, the group we've got. There's lads in there who've been to jail, who've, you know, maybe done some things which weren't so nice in the past, but now they're totally different people, and we're all on the same journey just to be better ourselves and to help people around us. So a lot of these kids, they've got excuses. So it's like, well, my mum took drugs, or my dad took drugs, or my parents split up, or, you know, and I'm pretty confident that obviously if I haven't been through it, I've got friends who've been through a million times worse than me, and shared a lot of the same experiences as them, and they're happy and successful now in life. So it's like, I can share that knowledge with them and show them that it doesn't matter where you come from. Basically, we're all the same, you know, and it doesn't matter what your past is, it doesn't matter what your mum and dad done or whatever. Once you learn this information, which we're all on a journey of self-development and learning ourselves, once you start to learn that information, there's no excuses. And that's kind of the message what I take into the schools with the kids.
What I love what you're talking about here, and there's some big words that are coming out in this conversation. You know, you're talking about education, you're talking about information, you're talking about self-development. You know, a few years ago, self-development or self-care was like, what? What do you mean? You know what I mean? But I think now, you know, not that there's any curve to be ahead of, but I suppose we've been slightly ahead of the curve, you know, and then or a part of that domino effect. And then there's a lot of people around our own circles, you know, who are seeing how we're thriving in our lives. You know, there's a level of inner abundance, isn't there, that we seem to just be embodying. And that vibration is incredibly attractive, you know. It's like, and then you're able, then, you know, you're demonstrating these qualities, you know, not just to parents and to the people around you, but to these youngsters who need it nowadays. You know what I mean? There's a massive, you know, issue obviously with knife crime in Liverpool, you know, and it's there's a system which is fragmented, you know, which is warped and which is twisted, and unfortunately a lot of it starts at home. But when we can apply this information, firstly we have to give the information, and, you know, I just love how you're so passionate about sharing information and giving, you know, men, women, kids an opportunity to embody it, you know what I mean? And when that's an embodied information, you're giving them literally the tools to make a choice then, aren't you? And we can't, you know, it's no guarantee what choices they're going to make, but at least you're giving them the tools to make a better choice, which we could, you know, really feel into and reference a level of connection, wholesomeness, integrity, gratitude. Because, you know, a lot of these kids, they've had it tough, haven't they?
They have, yeah. I know that firsthand from working with some of them. You learn the backgrounds and what they have been through, and you can understand why they are where they are mentally, and you can see it in them as well. You can feel it when you go in and you speak to certain kids. But I definitely know from when I'd started to where I am now, the relationships are built with the kids. My method and my plan from when I've gone in, it's worked. So for the first couple of months I don't speak about mindfulness, I don't tell them I do yoga, you know, nothing about meditation. I go in there basically and tell them I'm teaching them how to fight and defend themselves, to be confident.
You're building a container of trust first, aren't you? And then you slowly pull the
I
trigger.
just start to, you know, we watch Conor McGregor Law of Attraction videos, so it's like, but that's 2 months down the line. They've got to let them walls down and, you know that they can trust me more than anything before I can start trying to even teach them anything. You go in day one trying to teach kids teach them anything apart from, you know, maybe fighting or
they're not having it,
they don't want to know. But once they know that I'm there, and a big thing I go in and tell them is basically I'm here for nothing. I don't get paid, so you know, I show all you respect, I speak to you with manners. I'll never tell you to shut up. I'm in there and I hear teachers telling these kids to shut up or to do this or do that. I'm like, how can you expect the kids to
listen,
respect you? You gotta, you know, lead by example.
Absolutely.
And telling kids to shut up. For me personally, they're never gonna pay attention or listen to you. I'll say, can you be quiet, please? And I know from watching it, I get a better response from the kids.
Yeah.
And they respect me more because I speak to them how I wanted to be spoken to when I was their age and coming from the same background as them. So I get a really good response off the kids. Like I said, I work with them for 2 months, teaching them you know, about fighting, but obviously with fighting comes attitude, and you know, I get them to push themselves sometimes maybe a little bit too much. I've lost a few where maybe I know I've trained them a little bit too hard and he's been sore for a few days and they haven't come back, but I might start off at 20 and end up with a core of 5 or 6 kids who are there every week. You know, we watch Conor McGregor, like I said, Law of Attraction videos on like Muhammad Ali and stuff like that, and the project's actually called the I Am Project, and you know, basically I'll go into the kids and say, how are you, what's happening, and the kids go, fuck all that shit in it, and I go, well, it's not for me, and we have a laugh about it, and I'll explain to them the power of the words and what they're saying, and then the next week I'll go in and go, what's happening, how are you? And they go, it's absolutely boss, it's sound, it's this and that. So we have a laugh, but at the same time I know that the way I'm kind of selling it to them and getting my message across, it does work and it excites me. So you know, if I can open a wake basically and get 30 kids in a session 5-6 days a week, that's 150, 180 kids a week that I can have an impact on in some way positively to, you know, give them a better chance in life. And you know.
And what a mission statement that is, you know, when I suppose that is such a drive for you to get up of a morning, you know, to be in the world, you know, and to express that authentic truth that, you know, having been on this journey of education and direct experience, and you know, and rubbing shoulders with the likes of Wim Hof. You know, I know you were in Poland at the start of the year with Luke and, you know, a couple of the other guys, you know, from the 3%, and going on that journey. You know, and again, this conversation's all about just having, you know, it's about being inspired. It's real conversations with real people, and I really do pray that anyone listening to this conversation today is inspired by what we're talking about, and what we're talking about is just taking a look in the mirror. What we're talking about is, you know, creating some healthy habits. What we're talking about is like coming together, you know, being vulnerable, you know, and really becoming a lot more aware. You know, awareness for me, you know, I know you've called your centre awake. That's just it. You know, it's just time for people to wake up, Mark, isn't it? You know, and unfortunately, a lot of people are fast asleep, and they're just, you know, it's that mantra, isn't it? Same shit, different day. They're just getting yesterday, they put it onto today. They get yesterday, put it onto today, and they're running a program, and it's some very, very simple stuff, mindful techniques, or going to these uncomfortable places, which actually start to rewrite, you know, some of our programming. I watched a great documentary yesterday, and it's basically how, like, the CIA have been influencing the likes of Hollywood and movies since the 60s, you know what I mean? they talk about the television, these black boxes that we have, and it's to tell a vision, and they're basically programming us, through the media, and these messages, these subconscious messages are going into our psyche, and no wonder we're behaving the way we're behaving, and it runs through Disney, and it's a very, very, very powerful documentary, and anyone tuning in today, I definitely invite you to take a look at that, Out of the Shadows. And it's about information again, Mark, isn't it? And the opportunity to wake up. And I just ask anyone to be a little bit open-minded with this stuff, and know that if you're judging it, you're only judging it from your own filter. Yeah. And what we're all talking about here is really having the capacity to look beyond our perceptions, Luke, isn't it? You know what I mean? And being a Liverpool, like growing up in Liverpool to where you are now, how different is your life?
Completely different, Matt. Like that's why, again, with what we're speaking about here with the young lads, I fell into that category of just, I was kind of the black sheep of the family, and just always in trouble and doing whatever I was doing. And so for me, I think like it's not even so much just like a father figure, it's just like a male role model. I think that's massively important as a lad, to have like a male role model there, like a strong figure that you can aspire to be, and not just one that you see on telly. I think one in your life is a massively important thing. That's something that I didn't have up until recent years, and what I found since having them type of people in my life is when you can model yourself on them type of people that you look up to, you become what you're aspiring to be. Absolutely. By default. Yeah. So then you start to inspire them. It's like a domino effect. And I just feel like, as you mentioned before, you touched on just habits of that is all I've changed in my life, is habits. So what I do every single day, my like habitual behaviour, and it's as simple as fine-tuning them things that you do every single day. It's just what leads to a totally different life. Like your thought process, like I used to not be able to think of single like positive thought from the minute I woke up. It was just all negative. Like I've been at that a low point in my life where I was waking up and actually couldn't wait for the night to come to go back to sleep, because I'd hope the next day I'd wake up feeling a bit better than I did today. And I was in a vicious circle like that for probably about 2 years. So I'm speaking from a place where I've been to a really dark place, and that's another reason why I want to spread me knowledge so much, is because I can feel people's pain, and I know what it's like to be down there. So it's kind of like a light at the end of the tunnel. I just want to let people know, no matter how hard or how bad you think your life is getting, it's not like a poor me story, but like I've been there and I've felt it, you know what I mean? So like a lot of us have, as we're speaking about it, and I think as you said, the way you attack your tribe, I think that's what the 3% is, and meeting the likes of yourself, that's what I've realised, is that we've all got our own story to tell, and when the more you can relate to people, the more people just want to listen to what you got to say. Absolutely. You've got to be relatable. I think it's as Mark said, like when he goes into school and he just goes in his night trackie and just turns up in his car, like, and they're like, wow, look at Mark, and that grabs someone's attention. Now to grab the attention there, and then it's kind of like, come over here, like sit down once you got their attention, then you can talk, but just to stand there and like it like I don't know how to say it without like really offending people, but like the typical type of yogi, for example, to stand there like that and say, come over here, listen to what I've got to say, you're gonna probably half your audience, maybe even more so. Whereas if you come across relatable, as Mark is, and I like to think of myself as in that sense, then people want to hear what you got to say, because like, you just one of the boys, like, you're just one of the lads from just the same area I'm from, grew up the same way I did.
We've all got a niche, haven't we? That's what it is, and I know what my niche is. It's similar to Luke's, the same as I think you're kind of becoming more relatable to everyone now, aren't you?
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's been, I think, I remember such a good few years ago, and I remember exactly where it was, and the meditation I had, you know what I mean? I had this meditation, and I had Planet Yoga at the time, and meditation, I was dabbling in there, And I remember having this revelation about teaching Liverpool how to meditate. And I was like, wow, where's that come from and what's all that about? So I sort of, I put it on the shelf, and how things have unfolded, it's almost like I've been guided, been divinely guided. I feel as if I've been, my life has been a level of just organic fluidity. It's almost like I haven't even had the choice, and I've been very fortunate because it's put me in the right place at the right time, and actually to come to Liverpool and to be here and to teach. The one thing I always say to people, I say, I'm just here to educate you, and it comes back to that information. And all I'm doing is sharing information. I'm just passing the book. I'm giving people the knowledge so they can have the direct experience of the practice. I don't claim to get the results. The practice gets the results. I just lead people to the practice, and so I'm deeply inspired to share, everything I have. I want to empty my cup, for the benefits of growth and for the benefits of co-creation, and for the benefits of coming together. There's some, we're social animals, aren't we? You know what I mean? And when we are vulnerable, and when we do feel connected, and when we're really embodying this essential transmission within us, then anything's possible. You know what I mean? Anything's possible. And and thank you for sharing your story, Luke, because there are a lot of people who are struggling. You know what I mean? They're on the floor, they're in the darkness, and somewhere down the line, sometimes we just want people to save us, but really we got to save ourselves, haven't we? You know what I mean? And obviously there's going to be people in your life who are going to help you to get out that hole. But you got to make the first step yourself, and talking about healthy habits there, I think that's a big one, you know what I mean? Maybe setting some habits. There's a book that comes to mind by James Clear. It's called Atomic Habits. I'm sure you guys have tapped into it. And he talks about, habits, and 50% of our behaviour is down to the habits we entertain each and every day, you know what I mean? And, it comes back to this growth, doesn't it? Having these habits which are uncomfortable. And it's only uncomfortable because it's unfamiliar. You know what I mean? It's just territory that we're not familiar with. And unfortunately nowadays people are just, they're lazy. You know what I mean? I feel as if a lot of people are losing the virtues of patience and persistence and discipline and determination. And having some habits that help you to anchor these traits will help you to sharpen them tools. And so you're leveling up, aren't you? You know what I mean? We're talking about leveling up here. We're talking about upgrading. And then there just seems to be a sense that there's a lot more people nowadays. And it takes a crisis, I think, a lot of the time for people to want to do something about their life. The darkest hour comes before the dawn, doesn't it? But for you to sit here today and share your story, and really be in a place where you're ready to pioneer others. You're showing people the light, but you're doing it effortlessly. It just happens because you are the light, you've become the light, and it's a measure of the actions and the steps you take on a daily basis. We're talking about a day-to-day, moment-to-moment experience where you're learning how to hold the space for yourself, aren't you? And then by doing that, you authentically hold the space for others, but also, are vulnerable enough to want to serve other people in the things that you're doing, whether it's awake, whether it's, meditation, mindfulness, MMA, or, the fitness things that you're looking to share with the world. It's just really, really, for me, I'm so grateful to watch. You know what I mean? I think it's a great time in our lives, isn't it? Obviously with what things are happening, with the COVID-19 and moving into 2020, there's a shift, and for us to be who we are today, for us to feel into what we're feeling, and actually for us to be honest with each other as a collective, it's a powerful time. You know what I mean? It's a powerful time, and I'm excited for how things are yet to unfold. I think Liverpool, it's always had some magic, hasn't it? You know what I mean? It's a magical place. There's a grit here. There's a spirituality here, isn't there, Mark?
Thing on that. For me, I see Liverpool as being, because it's such a competitive place, it can force people to be better, but at the same time, that competitiveness can push people down as well. So again, going back to what I want to do with Awake, it's it's you're getting basically you get parents and it's the middle of the month, the 15th of fucking January, just being Christmas, they haven't got a pot to piss in, and they've got enough to survive till the end of the month, but the kids want these trainees for like fucking 200 quid a pair. So the parents go and spend the rest of the month's money on a pair of trainees for the kids because they want the kids to be kind of in competition with all the other kids and not feel like they've got any less, or which again I've been seeing that with my own mum, do you know what I mean? She's what is it, robbed, what's the saying, borrowed, begged and whatever it is, basically done whatever she had to done to do to get us them, the same trainees as other kids or whatever it is. So in Liverpool especially, because it's, you've seen what it's like for the fashion and it is a special city, and I think that competitiveness drove us to achieve great things and a lot more than what a city so small should have ever been capable of and will continue to do. But at the same time I think it causes a lot of problems in the sense that it is very, very materialistic, and a lot of families, parents who can't afford it are in that vicious circle of being in debt and borrowing money and being depressed, and then the kids are being brought up in a stressful environment because they're trying to keep up with the Joneses, so to say.
Absolutely. And at the level of duality here, I suppose with all the growth in the city, there has to be an equal shadow, do you know what I mean? And I think I am really fortunate that I was born in Liverpool and I've been raised here, and I've had a great life here, and I think we've got a lot of heritage, obviously, the docks, the football clubs, the Beatles, you know what I mean, the art galleries, the music. Unfortunately, there's a lot of places in the UK that haven't really got that identity. Do you know what I mean? We've got an identity, you know what I mean? We're Scousers and we're proud Scousers, and what comes with that, this city's, it's ever evolving, isn't it? You know what I mean? And there is for me, we've spat out the word spirituality a few times here, and it really just means, for me anyway, to be present. You know what I mean? To be connected. People think nowadays that spirituality is about, I need to be doing yoga, or I need to be doing meditation, or I've got to go vegan, or I've got to wear some crystals, or you're a hippie nowadays, but really it's just changing the perception of it, you know what I mean? And I think there's been a misconception of spirituality, or a misconception of even meditation over the years, but now really changing our perception, understanding it was just a filter of language, and now going, okay, well, spirituality, it's just about being connected, and firstly being connected to oneself. And I think when you're connected to oneself, it's easy then for you to connect to others, isn't it? You know what I mean? But it's a very magical place, and I've loved watching it grow, especially over the last few years. I think since we got that capsule of culture in 2008, I think it was, the city's just gone,
Thrived, hasn't it?
Yeah. And there's a lot of yoga here. It is a fighting city, a lot of boxing gyms, and it's
one of the biggest reasons why I think it is the way it is because of the past suffering, what it's gone through, and the hard times, and
of course Hillsborough.
It's all them things what have happened, what have made it such a special, resilient, and Scouse mums, they don't come any harder than Scouse mums.
Tough women, laddie.
And that's what they're the foundation basically for Liverpool, these fucking hard-ass tough women, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for bringing that up, because it can get maybe a little bit masculine sometimes, the conversation, you know what I mean? But let's send a moment out for for any women who are listening into this conversation today, and all the Scouse Mars, you know what I mean? You've held the space, you've inevitably raised a lot of the men here, do you know what I mean? I wasn't raised by my dad. My dad went to work, I didn't see him much. I was raised by my mother, you know what I mean? And fortunately for me, she come from very good stock. She had a good family, and she was grounded, she was centered, and she was able to raise me and my brother in a container which was really healthy, you know what I mean? And I'm grateful that I can now transmit that to my own child and to the people around me. But we were talking there before, Luke, it sounds like your father wasn't around when you were a child, and how was that for you?
I think with what it was with me, I didn't notice anything different like as a child. It's not like I was ever like, where's my dad, this, that, it was just a normal to me. Obviously that's just how I grew up, but it wasn't until recent years I realised what I'd missed out on. In the mindfulness course I'd done with yourself, I'd mentioned to you there was a time when like you'd looked at me and said that like you was proud of what I'd done, and that it's little things like that. I'm saying with like Mark, when Mark said similar stuff to me, it's in recent years I've realised what I did miss out on, and it was just that the male
a little bit of a blessing.
But as you said there, I definitely owe like a massive shout out to my mum, because my mum done everything she could to give me the best life she possibly could. She's the best woman I've ever met in my life. Like she's so special, and it's like she could only work with what she had. Obviously, and what it was with me, I grew up in my nan, so it was me, my nan, my mum, sister, stuff like that. Like, so, and it was still my nan's children still living there. So it was a really healthy, like happy environment. It was brilliant. But again, it was not realised until later years that I just missed that bit of male dominance in the house. It was a kind of like
masculine energy.
So what happened was, when I got to maybe year 7, year 8, which is what is that 13 or something, 14, whatever, I acted out then and started to be the man, the like, do you know what I mean? That I went down that road for a long time, just trying to be this masculine man and trying to be the boy and it just didn't do me any good. I self-sabotaged myself for so many years, man. It was just, it's only when I've actually become comfortable with who I am and you realise you haven't really got to prove anything to anyone. Once you kind of become aware of that, I just feel like nothing matters. I don't care that I didn't have a dad. Nothing matters now. I don't care about any of that. It's like when you truly just become happy with you, and you do have your realisation, awakening, whatever you want to label it, it's just you realise how insignificant most things are, and it's just down to just being happy and just being yourself. And then once you kind of get to a place where you are that comfortable, as we mentioned before, we just want to share it then with people, don't we? And
same. I think my dad was like 15 years, 16 years. I never seen him for, but like I'm grateful to him every day for getting away from me, because the journey he went on, the way he was, it was like if he'd have been around, he'd have done more damage than he'd done good. And fortunately, same as Luke, I'm the same with my mum. I've just got this typical strong Scouse fucking hard case of a mum. You know what I mean? And she basically, I'm who I am because of her. I'm grateful to her. And you know, when you get to that point where Luke is and where I am and where you are, it's like you can always put a positive on anything as far as I'm concerned. And
Absolutely.
I'm like, I went through all them stages of like feeling like he weren't there for me and hating him and anger and but then eventually come to the point where I'm just so thankful to him for leaving us and being away from us. And
I think that's another thing with the spirituality in it. You know what you said then, Mark, like you're putting a positive on it. I think a lot of people think when you're trying to be positive, like you're just trying to be positive, everything can't just be good all the time. And it's not that I ever think everything can be good all the time, but there's always a different perspective to look at something, do you know what I mean? And I think that's what people just don't quite grasp and understand, is that it's not that you're just putting a positive on anything, you're just looking at it from a different dynamic. Like you can either sit there and say, poor me, fucking this happened, that happened, or you can look at it and say, do you know what, I'm gonna suck it up and I'm just gonna like make the best of a bad situation. So I think there's a bit of confusion around what being positive, so to speak,
and I'd like to elaborate on that. You're talking about like playing the card that you've got, playing the cards you've got, you know what I mean, and doing your best, and hustling and how you can, and I certainly don't want to debunk anyone's trauma from the past year, you know what I mean. If you have had a difficult situation with maybe your parents or family members, or if you have been a child who's had a fatherless upbringing, or maybe your mother wasn't around, and how that void in your life can cause some trauma, but also that void in your life can be a stepping stone, it can be a springboard, and as you were talking about there, Luke, what came to mind was like how sometimes maybe some people are addicted to the pain or they're addicted to the suffering, and they'll play the victim. Do you know what I mean? They play the victim. That's where the drama comes in. And it's because they're so used to that paradigm, they don't know any different. You know what I mean? And I know Eckhart Tolle, I've mentioned him a couple of times today, he talks about the pain body, you know what I mean? And it actually gives someone a sense of self, it gives someone a sense of belonging, to play the victim and to replay that story, because actually they're just longing for the parent to be there. And on a deeper level, and I hope anyone can get this today, is really, you're just longing for yourself. You're longing to know who you are. And I know we've all, we talk about waking up here, don't we? We're talking about awakening. And really my perspective of awakening is when you realise who you are behind name and form, behind the character, behind the story. There's an energy there, there's an essence, which is already complete. It's encoded in our experience. And, me as the teacher here coming out I could reference it as the witness and stillness awareness, and we're all pretty much this subjective nature of awareness looking out onto the world. You know what I mean? And we've all had maybe friends who've gone travelling and I've gone to find himself. I was one of them, and I sincerely found who what I was looking for, and it's you. You know what I mean? It's that sense of I, and I know you talk about I am, Mark, and that's the project that you're holding space for these kids to learn is that is our real name. I am, I am, and then we label ourselves. Oh, I am Martin, and then obviously I'm now connecting my essence of awareness to the acting self, to Martin, to the personality, and I'm not denying my character here. But there's two things going on, you know what I mean? And having that deeper sense of awareness, that sense of I, that's always been there. And when I embody that, it gives me then the opportunity to choose what I choose in the moments I choose them, but also gives me the opportunity to level up my character, to actually examine myself, you know what I mean? And I reference Sam Harris here a lot, and he talks about living an examined life, and to actually take a look in the mirror, to take a look at your character, your acting self, take a look at how you're behaving, are you telling the truth? We're the only species that tells lies, you know what I mean? And for us to really take a look in the mirror, it's probably one of the toughest things to do, isn't it, in life? And when we can take responsibility for that stuff, then that's where the growth is. And it comes back to what we spoke about today, is it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable, but that's where, the transformation lies, isn't it? You know what I mean? When we step right on the edge, we go to that boundary, and we step beyond it, and we go into a paradigm which is unknown, which is unfamiliar, but we trust. We have to welcome that trust. And when we welcome that trust, for me, that's where we surrender, and that's where a lot of magic is. There's vulnerability there, there's connection there. And yeah, for anyone who's maybe listening to this who's not understanding what I'm talking about, then that's okay as well, because the penny will drop. I've a real passion here, and so do the lads, so do these men talking about, their story, for holding space for an awakening, and I think there's a massive shift going on the planet at the moment with, come back to this COVID-19, where there's just a lot of people waking up, and I believe we have to be still for that to happen sometimes. Awakening comes to us all in different ways, but collectively I feel as if we're all in the same boat, maybe in different parts of the boat, but we're all seem to be in the same boat at the moment, don't we? And we're being driven to be still, we're being driven to take a look at our stuff, and this is where the shadow's rising up, and I know that I've embraced this time, but also it's been a challenging time, especially maybe in some personal relationships I'm having to some close family members at the moment. It's bringing some stuff up, and really when we have the container and the opportunity to take a look at the stuff that's rising, really it's just something within yourself that you're looking to resolve. And I know Brian Rose has been talking about it. You know, he did a great conversation with David Icke a few days ago. It was a second conversation, and there's the last 20 minutes of the conversation, David Icke's talking about humanity, he's talking about consciousness, he's talking about being awake and waking up and coming together, and it's such an inspiring, you know, transmission for him. And you know, I know we can sit here together and sincerely own our own experience, you know, tell our story, and really for the, you know, we're a link in a chain, aren't we? You know, we're just the next domino for I suppose a greater good of consciousness. So it's just so refreshing to hear your stories and to sit here and to just blast this stuff out over this interview. And it's so what's next then? You know, obviously we're talking about Awake, and I just want to tap in very quickly. You've been doing some excursions, haven't you, Mark? You know, some walks. So what's going on there?
The thing I think I kind of enjoy the most about Awake is it's given me and my partner Diane a hub, so to say, or a base which we can kind of use to see where these ways we can help people, and use that space to basically to make it happen. So
nice.
Something that everyone's kind of on it at the minute is over phone. So you see a lot of people, you might be out for your dinner or whatever, and you look to a table and there's 2 kids on iPads and 2 parents on Instagram or whatever. So I think a lot of the stuff that goes on, especially mentally as well at the minute, you can put a lot of the reason behind it, the blame, so to say, on people maybe spending too much time on phones and not connecting with the family or the friends as much as they could, or because basically you got this little distraction in your hand 24/7. So we had a little brainwave over organising days out. So I named them Digital Detox Days Out, which means there's no phones. I organise a coach. So for the last day out, we had 73 people. I actually was emailing till, I think I told you this, the Saturday night before. It was in the Echo, and they put something on advertising it a few days before, and I had to email like maybe 180, 200 people to let them know that it was full. So I'm expecting good numbers on the next one, but that just shows these, basically it was about getting people off phones and I advertised that as reconnecting with your family and with your loved ones and making new friends. And so we got a coach. We have a secret destination. I don't tell them where they're going. I've got a good, really, really good friend of mine, Mick Kieran. He's a professional tour guide all over the UK. So his job is to take people on, all over some of the most dangerous mountains in the UK. And he headed up the, making sure everyone's safe. So it is all done really professional. The likes of Luke and some other good close friends. They all help us out on the day, just helping guide people and make sure everyone's safe. And we take people for a big day out. So we met at 8:30 at Awake in the morning. I had a 70-seater coach there. Basically filled the coach with people that collect all the phones in when they're getting on the bus, and they get them back at the end of the day when we get home, which on that day was like maybe 5:30, 6 p.m. And we got back to the Awake headquarters. So on that day we went to Llangollen, which was like an hour on the coach. On the coach we had 2 girls on there playing some music and everyone singing, and I had like drawing competitions with for the kids with some prizes, getting them to imagine something and draw it. And then obviously we had a boss walk up to the castle in Llangollen. We walked along the canal. There's literally not a phone in sight. I bought some Polaroid cameras to take pictures, so everyone's taking pictures on these old-fashioned Polaroid digital cameras. But it was just dead nice to see people, just having conversations, just playing with the kids. The kids on the way home, I got the kids to write basically a story of what they've took from the day and what they enjoyed, and it was just like the most simple things, like rolling down a hill. Yeah. All the kids love rolling down a hill, and you know, doing things which don't cost a penny.
Simple stuff, innit?
Just the simple things, mate, yeah. So it's just...
No, you find yourself with, like, when you look back on a certain situation and you kind of, like, I've read in a lot of psychology books that you can lie to yourself about how a situation was, like, subconsciously, you're not meaning to do it, but see that day out that you're talking about now, like, it was exactly what it was intended to do, that, wasn't it? Like, it genuinely was one of the most powerful days I've ever had, because like, we had you even got the girl singing and that on the way, didn't you? Like, she was singing, I think it was a Bob Marley song or something, and on the way back, like you say, with the kids drawing, but it weren't just as in, oh yeah, that was good, that it was like, cause there was no phone to distract you, you were actually concentrating on whatever,
right,
like, you couldn't go out at the belt at that, and then 2 seconds later, you fixed in on Instagram. It was like, you were listening to people sing, you were listening to people's stories, like the kids' stories, you were helping people out who might have been getting tired or a bit stuck on the walk. Like, it done exactly what it was intended to do, lad. It went
we're
to a
giving
T.
people no choice but to be present, because we're taking away the distractions.
Yeah,
exactly that.
That's what it's about, and that's when people, you know yourself, when people connect, when, you know, they're forced to connect. There's nothing there, there's no Instagram or there's no Facebook, or they can't WhatsApp their mates, or, you know, even taking pictures. No one could get a phone out to take.
Lad, you've got to leave your phone upstairs, sorry. But you've only got to leave your phone upstairs for half an hour and be sat downstairs, and you're like, you start to feel free, like that freedom. It's mad, because you just become so addicted to just them little small endorphin releases that, like, they just mean nothing.
What springs to mind here, I seen a photo a while ago, and there seems to be, I don't know what, they're looking at something, and it's just a crowd of people, and every single person in the crowd has got a camera. And there's this one person in the crowd that she hasn't got a camera. It's an old lady, you know what I mean? And she's just watching the moments as it is. And I think there's something sacred about, sometimes you don't have to take a photo of the moment, you know what I mean? You don't have to capture the moment. The moment's already being captured, isn't it? You know what I mean? And to capture them moments and let it just imprint in you know, when you sort of in a camera, I suppose, and let it be there, you know what I mean? And
how many people take photos and never actually... The 5,000 photos in on a phone that they never look at it again, and what they're doing by taking that photo is taking themselves away from
what's going on,
where they actually are, and appreciating, you know, what they're actually taking.
And in your mind, when you do take a picture, it's almost like you give your mind permission to forget it, because you've stored it in your phone.
I agree,
you know what I'm saying?
Definitely,
so you're going like, boom, like, I don't even have to think about that, because and then like months later you go, fucking, like, remember that, and it might come back to you then, but you shouldn't really take that.
Of course.
You should, like...
And I think equally though, you know, they are powerful devices, aren't they? And we come back to the information, and sometimes it is nice to get a snapshot. I am really, you know, I'm really grateful that I can, you know, sort of take a video of my daughter, you know what I mean, doing something, you know, maybe to play it back, you know, in years to come. But I think there's a fine line, isn't there? Where
everything's about moderation and balance, isn't it?
Balance,
and that's the key. It's discipline again.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, setting like your timers on your Instagrams for however long you can manage to spend on that a day without it taking over. But it was to the point where people at the end of the day, when I was giving them the phones, so I had the stickies, and we putting basically, I get a sticky, you write your name on it, put it on your phone, it goes in a box, and you can't have it until the end of the day. That's the agreement we've got when you come on the day out. So at the point where I was standing at the exit to the coach at the end of it with a bucket full of phones, and people were like, didn't want the phones back.
You know,
do you know what I mean? They were like, I don't even want that. I'm scared to look at it. And like, you know, and the start of the day was a bit of anxiousness, and people were like, you could tell they were kind of missing it, and you know, but they were people were truly grateful. They were getting people saying on the way walking back to the coach, like, thank you so much for today. And for me, that's what Awake's all about. It's seeing these problems and things and just being so blessed to be in a position to be able to go and get a coach to fill full of people, to put them on and give them that experience in a day with no phones, which, you know, there might be 70 people that day, 20 of them people might from then on have days where they have a day off the phone a week with the kids, and like, for me to be able to see that problem and to figure out a way to solve it, that's what, it's not about money, that's something I love, being in a position to be able to do that, you know what I mean? And that's what Awake's about going forward. It's like seeing problems, taking ownership of them, and figuring out how you can help other people, you know.
Yeah, what a journey that is, you know, to really now, you know, to be of service. I think out of all the things that I've tapped into over the years, out of all the books I've read, and, you know, diving down the sort of rabbit hole of spirituality as well, and and you know, reading a lot of different maybe religious texts and feeling into stuff, and a lot of them talk about the same thing, and it's all about service to others, you know what I mean? And on a deeper level, as you're serving somebody else, you're really serving yourself, you know. That respect, that space that you're holding for that person is really a space that you're holding for the divine, really, you know. You could even say God. It might even trigger some people listening to that, really, but God for me is that perception of stillness, that perception of awareness, not the guy in the clouds, or you know, not someone who judges of our sins. But however, you know, we don't want to get this take this into any sort of religious text. But yeah, this service to others, it seems to come around when it sort of comes, it's like the final penny that drops, isn't it, Mark? You know, you do all this work on yourself and you're not sure what's going on, and you're in this, you know, you're on this journey and all this magic's happening, and then in the end it just seems to be, okay, what is it that I can really do here that's going to make a difference? And it's to serve, you know what I mean? It's to serve your fellow man, it's to serve your fellow Scousers, you know what I mean? And I know you're holding the space so wonderfully here in Liverpool, and you know, good for you, you know what I mean? Very, you know, it's because it's this like, what can I do for you attitude, instead of maybe like, what can I get out of you attitude, you know what I mean? And I think when we truly embody that, then life's gonna look a much better place, isn't it? You know what I mean? And I feel as if certainly when the restrictions are much softer, you know, with this situation that we find ourselves in, you know, I really trust that a lot more people are going to come together, aren't they? You know what I mean? I can only imagine the parties.
Synchronistic, isn't it, really, with what we're doing and what we're about? Like, we're going to be at a point where there's never been a time where people have needed it more.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
For what Luke's doing, it's like everyone, you've got to be sensitive to everyone's situation. There's people at the minute who haven't got no money.
Yeah.
You know, and can't pay the bills and are really, really struggling. And, you know, really feel for them people. But everyone's journey and situation is different. So if you're in a position where, like me, I can spend more time connecting with my kids and working on myself and watching my videos.
You're not trying to survive, are you? You know what I mean? You know, you're in a place where you are internally abundant and externally abundant.
Yeah, but I've had them times where I've had to survive, and they've put me where I am now. If you're going through that phase now, you've got two options, and that's to come out the victim or to come out stronger because of whatever experience you're going through now. And that's everyone's own journey. And
can I just touch on something there, just with that, saying that, like, I was speaking to someone the other day and he said to me, it's lucky that you'd set up your online thing, you know, as this happened. But not that, like, I took offence to it, like, at all, but what I said to him was, like, you do make your own luck, don't you? And I know a lot of people have said now, like, this situation, Mark said it to me the other day, it's just going to bring out whatever anyone really is, like, underneath, like, the true colours. So, like, if people take advantage of opportunity, then they're going to take advantage of this opportunity. If people, like, are addicted to moaning and self-loathing, then they're going to sit there and like, cry themselves all day, every day. But I feel like, in terms of saying this situation's felt nice for some people and some people can't take advantage of this, they've put themselves in that position to have took advantage of it. And I think, like, everyone gets their time in life where the penny drops for them in a certain situation, or like, an event happens and it works in your favour. And I think that if you keep constantly working in your life to put yourself in a situation where you can turn lucky one day, then I feel like that's what it is, more so than luck. It's more so putting you, like, you do make your own luck. You put yourself in a position where, like, I've worked for the past 18 months on this product that now is being took advantage of because it's home workout. So it's actually worked well for me in this favour. But as Mark said there, I've been in the times where I have been, like, literally on my ass, where you're trying to survive, and I know so many people are at this moment in time. But to that, I would just say that if you what you do during this particular situation, I think, will swing full circle. Do you understand what I mean?
Time to anchor it, isn't it?
Just do the best you possibly can with the situation that you've got at the minute, and once this all does blow over, you'll be rewarded for it if as long as you keep that positive mental attitude.
Thank you for sharing that. You know, it's powerful information, and again, it's I'm just sitting here and, you know, we're an hour and a half into this conversation and we could just keep going, you know what I mean? You know, we could keep talking about all this stuff and really, I've just really enjoyed what we spoke about, you know. Sometimes you don't really know what you're going to talk about, but it just flows, and we certainly got into a lovely flow there. So let's start rounding this off, and let's ask a couple of questions. One is I'd like you to talk about if there's any books that you're reading at the moment and that you would you know, express any information that you could give to someone listening, maybe someone on the journey, someone starting on this path of self-development. And also I'd like you to just project 5 years from now, you know what I mean? What does life look like, you know, for you? Not individually, but maybe collectively with the things that you're diving into. So Luke, let's feel into yourself first.
Yeah, in terms of books, Matt, these 3 books are the best books I've read. It's The Monkey Sold His Ferrari.
By Robin Sharma, is that one? Yeah, that's it,
yeah. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Yeah.
And one called, the one that I'm currently reading at the minute, I'm on about the 5th time going through it, is called The Science of Getting Rich. And I always say, when I recommend the books to people, don't let the title scare you, because it's a lot deeper than just what the title said. It's not just about money at all. It's about it's a far deeper meaning about giving and gratitude and what life's about, values, core values of life, and seeking increased life. And there's a great quote that he said in it. I think his name is Wallace Wattles. He says, to give someone in poverty a loaf of bread will only prolong the suffering, but to inspire them to break free of poverty is where you'll truly change their life. So I feel just like that inspirational, like inspiring people is actually helping so much more people than trying to individually hand feed everyone, which it's impossible.
Yeah.
Some people have tried over many generations to do it, and it's impossible. It's impossible. You can only like offer a way out through your knowledge. So I just feel like them books for me have paved a good way, along with mentors around me like yourselves who inspire me. But them books definitely have inspired me and given me a different perspective on life. And in terms of 5 years from now, I can just see a massive platform for myself personally to spread my knowledge, just that continuing to grow. And in terms of just as a group, I just feel like we're just going to help a lot more people by helping ourselves still. Like I'm just massively committed to making myself grow. I just feel like that the more you add to yourself, the more value you give yourself, and that you can spread. So loads more travelling and just learning and staying connected to people like yourselves, and just helping everyone grow.
So I hope everyone got them books there. And as Luke walked into the studio before we started talking about this stuff, and I had a book in my own collection, which I was really, I think there's something beautiful in passing a book to someone, you know what I mean, or actually, you know, giving any gift, but sometimes even something as simple as a loaf of bread, you know. We were talking about bread there, and it's a book on spiritual economics, and I think you're going to really enjoy it. So thank you for receiving it.
Yeah, nice one.
Luke, it's been a real pleasure having you here today.
Thank
I know
you.
you drove up from Brighton, and you know, you hold this energy, which is not just physical energy, but there's an aura, there's an energy that it just transmits off your being. And I know we've had the fortune of spending a bit of time together, you know, recently. You know, we did a meditation course here in Liverpool, and we broke some bread, didn't we? You know, we shared some food, and it was just really it was great to get to know you, you know what I mean?
Definitely same back to you.
I'm excited for your journey. I'm excited for how, you know, things pan out for you individually, and then collectively. You know, I think there is no limit, is there? It's limitless. So again, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it a lot, man.
Okay, Mark, so rounding it up, is there anything that you're tapping into at the moment with regards to any literature or any books you'd recommend for the listener?
To be honest, I don't read as much as I'd like to. I prefer YouTube videos. I must watch 10-20 YouTube videos a day some days. But I'll second Luke on Think and Grow Rich. Don't let the title fool you. It's about a lot more than than money or, you know, that kind of wealth material gain. That's like, you know, there's so many other mentors and you know, self-development coaches all refer to that book, and there's definitely a reason why. But I definitely advise you to get out and get that. There's another one, Feeling's the Secret. I never got that. That's only a small book, but I keep that next to my bed and read little pages of that here and there. I've probably read that 4 or 5 times over. So that's 2 books. But I'd say a couple of YouTube pointers. One is Bob Proctor.
Yeah.
He's the main guy who I first started to watch. I actually posted a couple of videos of him today, and he gives a good in-depth explanation as to paradigms, and which is, we've discussed before, is like a multitude of habits. So basically your daily habits create your paradigm, and everything comes from your paradigm. So Bob Proctor's one. I'd say Wayne Dyer's another one. You'd be dead familiar with him. And Alan Watts, I like a lot of Alan Watts. So if these 3 people, I'd maybe go for it. Bob Proctor, Wayne Dyer and Alan Watts. Check them out on YouTube.
Powerful.
And in regards to 5 years from now, I just see myself waking up every morning, being happy, doing what I love doing, which is training, spending time with my family, and just seeing who needs help with whatever. And that's it, mate. Just freedom, basically. I'll just be getting up every morning, doing my own things, what I love doing, and spending time with me missus, me kids and friends, and, you know, seeing who needs me and where I can come up with ideas and stuff to try and fix a few problems for people.
Lovely.
And that's pretty much it.
Just in the moment, you know.
Mate, that's it. Yeah.
In the moment, there's something to be said for just getting up each day and tackling the day ahead. You know what I mean? And it's really primal. That actually, you know, there's something, you know, us men. There's a feeling of wanting to rise, isn't there, and wanting to get out and wanting to, you know, to be in the world and to follow our dreams and to you know, and to get connected and to have fun in the process. You know what I mean? You know, your own there, like, about, you know, doing the things that you like to do. You know what I mean? And that's important. I think people, you know, you should follow your highest ecstasies. You know what I mean? And move into them areas of your life, and make skilled choices. And set goals around actually the things that you like to do, you know what I mean? Don't do things that, you know, maybe it's other people's values or other people's, you know, dreams, but maybe what is your own? And it's a serious question to consider for anyone locking into this conversation today. So, you know, having you here has been awesome. I've really enjoyed how, you know, our friendship is crystallising, you know, and it seems to, there's a lot of layers and levels and depth to how things are unfolding, and I'm truly blessed to be a part of your vision, you know, and to stand next to you and hold the space, you know, in how things are unfolding. You know, I've done a lot of work around, you know, the archetypes, you know what I mean, and when I look at you, I see a man who knows who he is and where he's going, and there's this, and I know Luke will echo the sentiments. There's an energy of the king, you know what I mean, the king of Liverpool, and I know you really holding that space and creating that space for so many people here in the city, for growth and transformation. And I, for one, am blessed to be a part of the whole process, you know, including the 3%, including you know, how things are unfolding. And we're just normal fellas, aren't we? You know what I mean? Just normal men, normal scousers in Liverpool, I suppose, doing extraordinary things. So thank you so much for, you know, taking the time.
Can I say 3 thank yous before I go?
Of course you can, yeah, fire away.
In fact, 4 ones obviously to yourself. One is to Brian, Brainman Brian.
Yeah.
I do actually thank him all the time, and he will vouch for that. Just for being part of where I am, and, you know, put me onto a few things which maybe life wouldn't be what it is if it wasn't for me meeting him. Obviously Katie, because I wouldn't be able to do anything what I do without Katie. And the last one's me best mate and business partner, Dave. So he doesn't get enough credit for what goes on. Again, I wouldn't be able to do half of what I do if it wasn't for me, my best mate and my partner, Dave. So yeah, just thank you to you and the 3 of them.
Thank you. It's always nice to you know, sometimes we can only give to others what's being given to us, Mark, you know what I mean? And I know you sit here, you know, and as I do and as Luke does, you know, we've done our own inner work, but really we've also been given some incredible gifts by other people, you know, other beings, you know, said at the start today, other Jedis, and, you know, there's a lot of Jedis out there, and they're all spreading a lot of magic, and, you know, when we've got a support structure of people, and we've all been influenced, I'm sure, by so many people in our lives. So finishing off, maybe is there anyone you'd like to give a quick shout out to, Luke? And you know, as Mark said a few thank yous there.
Yeah, I've probably fucking overdone it with it now, but probably to Mark as well, myself. Like, he's the one who really has inspired me this past 18 months. So a massive one to them. I'm just the people that I've had around me, all my friends and family. Honestly, like I love and respect them all so much, and like it makes anything that I'm working towards is only to ever live a better life, a more abundant life with the people close to me. So yeah, just all my friends and family and all the new people who are meeting in my life who are inspiring me.
Brilliant. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, so this was episode 8, and a conversation that I've thoroughly enjoyed with just real people, real men, real Scousers here in Liverpool. And you know, we're all on our own individual journey, but we're all doing something collectively. We're all coming together, and that's a big one. I feel as if when people can come together, when we can cooperate, and when we can co-create for a better world, for the sake of humanity, then there's something really powerful in that, and there's something so real and authentic. And it may sound a little bit cheesy, but you know this to be true. You know that this is the way. It's the way of the Force, and I, for one, am really grateful to be able to hold this space and have these conversations, and to record these conversations for anyone listening today. This is you know, this is sent with love. Our intentions are clean, and we really sincerely want to serve. So thank you for the listen, and get in touch. You know, just one other thing, you know, for anyone who wants to get in touch, you know, we've got Awake Liverpool. Is there a website at the moment, Mark?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
And Instagram page, just Awake Liverpool.
Wake Liverpool. It's on Instagram. It's all over social media. And there's a website. And then for people who want to tap into Luke's work, is it shredfast.co? Shredfastprogram.co.uk. So, you know, I invite people to tap into them things, especially if you're in here in living in Liverpool. Liverpool's a small place, you know what I mean, and it's well connected. And you know, it's definitely something that I'd invite you to check these fellas out. You know what I mean? These are holding a space for a lot of growth here in Liverpool and beyond. You know, so thank you so much for listening. Hope everyone has a lovely night, and I'll be seeing you again soon for episode 9. Over and out. Creating Space is sponsored by the Scouse Guru app, an all-purpose meditation app that feeds into all your needs, developing peace of mind, increasing mental focus, lowering stress levels while discovering inner stillness, awakening your potential and educating you on all matters related to human behaviour and personal development. Download the app for free on the App Store or get it on Google Play today.